Welcome, everybody, to the PodAskew Podcast. I am CJ, and with me, as always, is my hetero life mate, Rico. What's up, brother?
Oh, what's up, buddy? I'm so fucking tired.
I know. It's a big weekend for you.
It's finally the fucking weekend. Oh, my God, dude. For those, who pay attention to our personal lives, not just shit we talk about, you all know about... We dropped a big spoiler, essentially, which is Steph is moving out to my neck of the woods. For those who need a reminder on who Steph is our most popular podcaster on our podcast.
Well, I would second that.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's there's no debate for that. She is well loved. And yesterday was her birthday, so let's give a happy birthday to her.
Birthday, Steph. Happy birthday.
And so I'm not going to get into the whole backstory because there's a lot of personal shit I can't disclose. But she is moving out here, and for the majority of the packing and moving, it's her and her mother and her sister. So it's just her mother. A little while back did get ill with cancer.
Right.
And her cancer is now in remission. She's fine. She's not fine. It really affected her, as it does.
But she's kicking ass and taking names. She's She's a strong cookie, man. It's one of those stories where it's like, because I was obviously still dating Stephanie when the news hit her about her mother, and so we had to get through that together, and it's one of those happy stories where it's like, dude, she's better. Like, I don't want to jinx it, but she's doing amazing, and I keep telling her and her mother that, like, she's just a strong person, like, kicked its ass, is doing better. Not as good as she was before, but she's, because that takes a huge shock on the body. And obviously moving takes a lot of energy and a lot of time and a lot of everything. So I don't want to get into the specifics because I don't know what we can talk about, but I heard you got in trouble while you were down there helping out.
Oh, did Steph tell you that? Okay,
yeah, she did. I don't know if you want to talk about it, and it's fine if you don't.
It's actually really funny. So, I left Tuesday night with my mother. My mother picked me up from my house after I got off from work around 8:30, and we loaded up her Miata. Like, we drove to LA in a convertible with the top down at night.
Wow.
I didn't understand that that's what we were going to do because I think I was just so kind of like engrossed at work and not paying attention. And I was kind of tired, and then I was drinking caffeine to make myself wired because I don't really like sleeping in a car I also wanted to be like, I've never had a road trip with my mother, and I kind of want to experience that for a minute as an adult.
It's funny because when you talked about doing it last week, you said you were going to sleep the whole time.
I changed my mind. Because I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? As an adult, I should experience what it's like to travel with my mother for a long duration. And just because my mother and I can clash, but we can also get along very well. But I think it would be a great big test. And I encourage anybody, if you have any difficulties with a relative, go on a road trip. That will really determine if you guys can fucking handle each other.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. My mom and I used to live together, and when we moved, when she essentially threw me out. Real quick, by the way. Oh, damn it. Anyway, when she basically threw me out, our relationship improved substantially than from when we lived together.
I mean, and it works for every different relationship. Depends on other people and all that. So we drove. I guess my mom had actually asked me if I wanted to drive with the top down, but I didn't understand what she was talking about because I think she mumbled it. And I actually have a really hard time differentiating what people are saying when they speak in a very low tone and a very low, it's not that I'm not listening. I just can't, it goes through a filter which comes into my ears as,
right.
What?
Right.
And Steph can vouch. I'm always saying, what? Because she does it. And the irony is I do it too, but mumbling is not a fucking accent where I just understand. It just doesn't, mumblers don't understand other mumblers. So I guess she asked me if I want the top done. I guess I confirmed it without understanding what I was confirming, which means I'd be terrible if I was in like a fucking interview and someone asked me some shit. If they were mumbling. Right? So we drove with the top down the entire time, and I had like headphones on to keep my ears warm. I had a hood over my head, and I was listening to our podcast the entire time because I had it downloaded on my tablet. I think I mostly went through the Steph Askew one because I was like getting amped up to see stuff.
Oh, that makes sense.
I honestly, dude, I love that one a lot. Like I love the Steph Askew one.
I misheard you, but yeah. That too.
I mean, I love everything and nothing at the same time. I'm a paradox.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So then we got there at like 5 a.m. Wednesday morning, and then immediately went to sleep. And so my mom knew like she was going to have to help out. She didn't have to. No one asked her. Right. She was like, I'm going to stay because like you guys are going to be alone. And my mom is very good at directing. Because and Steph can confirm this, a good chunk of why I was taking them a little bit of time to pack up was a lot of them going through every box and every item and be like, oh, look at this. This is so-and-so's. They made this for us. Should we keep it? Should we throw it away? Should we pack it? Does this go here? Should we keep it in Oakland? Blah, 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 blah. And mom is just like, no, this goes there. You take that. This belongs to you. Oh, this is your grandfather's. You keep it. No. Okay. Like mom was just the great director for a bunch of inexperienced actors who were like, no, it's got to be the craft. Like, no, bullshit. say your line and hit your mark. Let's go. Nancy is fucking amazing at that. And I've always, as much as I can bitch about my mother and she can bitch about me, like she deserves a lot of praise for this trip.
Oh, this was your mom. I thought you meant Steph's mom.
No, my mom.
Gotcha.
Well, so as I'm sure you all are aware, I have a sailor's fucking mouth.
No.
Yeah, I think my first word might have been fuck. Actually, it was noodle, but that's the beside the point.
I could see that with you, noodle being the first word.
Because I think they were like always going to be fucking spaghetti, and I couldn't pronounce spaghetti. So
I think it's just because you're fucking like 1 billion% Italian and stuff.
Well, actually, honestly, I think my first word might have been babbo, which is Italian for father. Like, okay, I didn't have daddy or dada. I had babbo.
Right.
Which just, I tried calling my dad babbo just to see how he reacted. He just looked at me like, what? like a couple months ago, I was just like, hey, babbo. He's just like, whoa, that was a blast from the fucking past.
Right.
Anyways, so I was, I was swearing because I'm me.
Yeah.
And I know Steph's not offended, and I know her mother isn't offended, but my mother, who, if you guys remember, is the one who took me to see Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, which may have skewed my fragile little mind when I was 10 years old.
Well, I mean, considering the opening scene is 2 toddlers doing the fuck song.
Exactly. So I was like, Mom, if anything, you kind of like, this is your fault.
Yeah.
And so, but I think my mom isn't offended by swearing, but because she definitely swears, but I think she's like claiming ownership of the word fuck. She's like, you use that word way too much. I want that word back. When I use it for proper meanings and it makes more of a big impact. You just can't say so you say fuck instead.
So she's basically doing Dante's move with that racial slur that I'm not going to say.
Oh, you mean Randall?
No, yeah, Randall. You're right. I said Randall, didn't I?
No, you said Dante.
Did I? Oh shit! All right. Yeah, Randall.
Oh, getting old, buddy.
Yeah, I am. Anyway, go ahead.
So she's like, I want to take it back, but for less racism. So my mom makes this whole, like, in a very jokey way, very tongue-in-cheek, like, you tell my son he's not allowed to say fuck. So Steph and her mom are both like, don't say fuck. Stop saying fuck.
And at one point, I was just, because I'm doing the majority of the heavy lifting. I mean, they definitely did a lot of heavy lifting, but that's why I was there, was to help like pick up fucking all the heavy shit. And I'm swearing because I'm tired and sore and carrying heavy shit. And the mother, she like goes to whack me with a broom.
Yes. And you turned inopportunely from what I heard.
I turned and she connected with my fucking testicles.
Ow.
And I just crumpled and the thing that really kind of sucks was that I know she felt bad, but she didn't like exhibit any like apology or remorse. I'm like, oh my God, that was such an accident. I'm so sorry. But she was just like, well, you shouldn't say fuck. Your mother doesn't want you to swear. And I'm just like, are you out of your fucking mind right now? What the fuck? Like, honestly, I got my ass beaten on this trip. I had bruises on my arms and on my forehead. We were carrying a table, and the table has one of those extenders.
Okay.
So you can make the table longer.
Yeah.
And it was folded down. I didn't know that. So I'm carrying it sort of on my shoulders, Steph's carrying the other end, and the fucking thing just swings out and bashes me in the fucking forehead.
Oh.
So I've got this bruise. And I told him, I was like, I'm fine. It actually, because it sounded louder than it actually was. It wasn't that painful, but I have a bruise on my forehead. So, and Steph was just like, you've been injured. I'm so sorry. She just, I love Steph, but she takes things like to heart in a major way. She's like, I hurt you. You came all the way out here and I've injured you. My mother hit you. You do this for love. And I'm like, this is definitely proof that I fucking love you guys.
Yeah,
like,
for real.
You guys are beating the shit out of me just for me being myself. And I get injured. Like I made a joke about how like, I'm going to just come back and like have no legs and no arms. I'm just gonna be
You'll be a chicken nugget.
Like a turd in the wind. I'm a what?
You'll be a chicken nugget.
I mean, yeah.
You've never heard that before?
No,
that's the term for
a
what is it? I forget the official term, but when you've had all your arms and legs either amputated or you never had them ever, you're a chicken nugget. Unfortunately, someone I know online showed me chicken nugget sex. It's two people with no arms or legs humping.
How the fuck do they do that? That must require some fucking assistance.
Oh, totally. There's a person like pumping the one person on the other one. It's weird.
Can you imagine that's your job description?
That's almost as bad as a fluffer.
Oh no, dude, that's worse than a fluffer. A fluffer, like, I honestly don't know why there is a fluffer, because if you have hands, you could do that shit yourself.
Right, exactly.
But like, a fluffer is just like just someone being really lazy on masturbation.
Probably, but like, we probably need to just let that die where it is. We're losing the 3 listeners we have as we speak,
and one of them is Stephanie. So like, she's just been like, this is great until when you were talking about me and my mom, but now you're talking about fucking amputee sex,
chicken nugget sex. That's what it's called. That's what it's titled, chicken nugget sex.
You know what's really sucks is like, I know I'm going to look that up at the end of this episode. And
you are.
And I encourage everyone to do it with me. Like, let's all be scarred and psychologically ruined together.
It is scarring. It's right up there, and I've talked about this before, but it's right up there with the detailed instructions on how to fuck a dolphin.
Do you fuck the blowhole?
I don't remember. I didn't read them really.
Is that the equivalent of gagging? But for like a dolphin, if you fuck its blowhole?
I don't know. Anyway, let's not. I'm editing this out. That's not anyway. So let's. Before we do that,
I don't know what the fuck we're talking about today.
Before we do that, actually, I wanted to give some love to Steph too. I know she's been through the ringer the last 5 or 6 days, and her and I talked last night. And back, yeah. And her and I spoke last night a little bit, and I'm not going to get into the details of that conversation because I don't think she'd want those aired. But Steph, there's a lot of love for you in this room from, both people here. So, and I told you that last night, so there's no surprise or secret in that statement, but I just want to reiterate it. And you're in good hands. So,
yeah.
But
you're in good hands because I'm not an amputee. I'm not a chicken nugget.
Way to take a sentimental moment, just destroy it.
Well, if I had the NFL, I'd put that on instead.
Yeah, well, all right, fair enough. In general news, before we get into it, by the way, I watched the first episode of The Conners this week, which is the Roseanne. Yeah, it premiered last Tuesday, so 5 days ago, 6 days ago, whatever that is. And it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Mm-hmm. So we'll have to see. Roseanne's dead, as everyone suspected.
Not just her career.
Yeah. Well, no. Okay. So just to avoid lawsuit, Roseanne, the actress, as far as I know, alive and well and somewhere in Israel, because that's where she said she was going when the show aired. She wasn't going to be in the States. She was leaving the States and going to Israel. But that's just based on what she said. But Roseanne, the character, Roseanne Connor, is dead. They killed her in an opioid overdose.
It wasn't in surgery?
No. Which is what I thought they were going to do. So apparently she made it through the surgery, came out of the surgery, and overdid the painkillers they gave her for the surgery. And it actually caused her heart to stop. So she didn't actually die of an overdose. She died of complications from opioid use, I guess is technically what caused her death.
That's got to be a metaphor for, she has no more heart. So fuck her.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. And the last scene of the episode felt like a bit of a slap in her face, but I'm not sure. And I wish you could have seen it. And if I could pull it up on demand without us having to watch the whole fucking episode, I would do it so I could show it to you. But it would force us to watch the whole episode first.
Yeah.
But
my question is...
Hold on. I just want to tell you what the scene is, and then you can ask your question, because I want to answer your question. But they do a zoom in at the table and then a spin around the room, kind of like the opening title sequence always used to be from the old Roseanne episode, and it's all of them minus her, obviously. Yeah. And they left a seat open for the first 30 seconds, and then Darlene sits in it. So I don't know... Yeah, see, you did the eyebrow raise. I don't know how to interpret that. It felt like a half of a slap in the face and half of an homage. I'm not sure where it was really going.
Well, that sequence always ends with her trademark laugh.
Right, which it did not do. There was no laugh.
Right, so my question, which is not really because you can't answer it. Well, you could. It's really more of a theorizing question.
Sure.
Do you think at the end of the season, it's going to be Dan writing his journal, the whole thing was fake, and Roseanne's still alive? And
you know what? Okay. I think there's two parts to that. The first part is a direct answer to your question. No, I don't think that's what it's going to be. But that leads to the bigger question of, do you think they could ever bring her back? Maybe. But then it would have to be something like that, and I think that would be dumb. So I don't think they'll ever do it. You know what I mean? I really don't. They really kind of, I hate to say it, but they really kind of put her in the grave. She's done. So.
I mean, they did that with Charlie Sheen in 2.5 Men in the very last
2 seasons
scene, at the very last, the very last scene of the very last episode for the show's run. It shows a Charlie Sheen lookalike walk up to the door and ring the doorbell or something, and then an anvil or a safe or something falls on top of him and kills him. That's kind of funny. Did you see that? That's literally what they were like.
I believe.
Oh yeah, we brought Charlie Sheen. Oh no, he's dead. He's definitely dead.
That sounds like something Chuck Lorre would do. It really does.
Oh, 100%.
Because that guy's fucking funny. I like you know what? I was not a big 2.5 Men fan, and I'm still not oh my god, I love that show. But Deb's been watching it because it actually took Roseanne's place on TV Land. That's the show they brought in to replace that. Although, you know what? They're running Roseanne again now. They just started running Roseanne again on TV Land. So I don't know what that means. I'm surprised they're running it because you still can't find the Cosby Show anywhere. Although, you know what else they're running now? Not to get in a whole off thing because I want to get what we're actually here to talk about, but they're running Seventh Heaven again.
That's surprising.
That's on a different network. It's not on TV Land, but I'm seeing it on the grid when I'm like flipping through channels. They're running it again.
That's surprising. I
right?
did not expect that. I thought that was going to be dead forever. I thought some of them was going to stay in heaven. Which,
by the way, did you hear Babylon this past week?
No,
the one from St. Louis?
No, I'm really behind on Babylon.
Okay, they had someone, because in the show they write in and ask Ralph to do impressions and stuff, right? Someone asked him to sing Jailhouse Rock by Elvis Presley as Bill Cosby in celebration of his sentencing.
God.
Oh, it's so fucking funny. It was really funny.
Did he call it Jello Pudding Rock?
No, he didn't. He actually kind of did it pretty seriously pretty straight in terms of lyrics, but he mumbled it a lot. Like, it was a lot of like incoherent like Cosbyisms, if you will. So
that's right.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Yeah, it was pretty funny. So let's move it back to what we're here to talk about, and that's Marvel things. So based on the conversation we were having right before we started recording, it appears there are some photos from the set of Spider-Man Far From Home.
And to be fair, these photos came out about a month ago. So I mean,
did they really?
Well, look at the date. It says September 30th.
Oh shit! Look at that. I didn't even see that. Yeah, you're right. So. Who's this Martin Knapp guy, by the way? I was looking him up while you were telling the story about the nuts and the broom and whatnot, and I can't figure out who he is, that he's anything important, except that he has these pictures on his Twitter somehow.
I don't know. Maybe I have no idea.
I figured you might.
I barely follow my Twitter.
You might like his banner up here. There, you see that?
I see the banner. I like the banner. That is a Bond wet dream right there. For those
speaking of Twitter, by the way. Speaking of Twitter, speaking of Twitter, I want to have a quick update that a new segment we're gonna have on the show for a little while at least, and I want to get a hashtag fat fuck follow up. So where are you at with your? That's what we're gonna call it. The hashtag fat fuck follow up. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I haven't been to the gym, but I've been definitely working out.
Sure. Are you seeing any improvement so far from the beginning of this? Not just this week, from up to now.
Not so much in my weight. I definitely am still hashtag fat fuck, but I'm definitely getting more. I mean, I was asking Stephanie because she was giving me a shoulder rub, and I'm like, do I feel a little muscular? It's like, you really do. Like, I definitely feel it in your shoulders, and I definitely feel it and see it in your arms, and in my chest. So like I mean, I think like if she was actually like, because we're both tired and sore and everything, if she'd actually give me like a full rub down, she would have felt my legs, because I think my legs are the ones that are really like taking a lot of the brutal action.
Right.
Because for being as heavy as I am, every step is a real effort. So I can't run. Running just hurts so fucking much, and it hurts my ankles. It hurts my calves, especially. And my calves are the ones that are really just like, why are you doing this to us? But Steph and I both like they have a hot tub at the apartment they're at. They never use the entire time they're there. And I said, Steph, you're fucking moving. You might as well fucking go in the hot tub one time. And plus, we're both sore and tired. Let's jump in the hot tub for like, and we were like in there for like 2 hours. We're just like, we fucking need this.
Dude, I love hot tubs. As someone
so do I, man. But Steph
would
is a bit of a...
Would it be weird if we... Seriously, like if we were ever living within proximity and one of us had one, that we would just all sit in there with like fucking like a bottle of whiskey or something and just drink for...
Yeah.
Would that be weird? Like,
no, not at all. Okay. That is like one of those, like, honestly, I love baths more than showers.
But
you and Debbie both.
I can't always.
Sometimes I swear you two should be fucking dating because, and we've said it on multiple different episodes, the similarities between you two is ridiculous. Go ahead.
Well, honestly, that's a good thing because, like, if you deal with her shit, you can also understand my shit and vice versa.
Yeah, that's true. And I do put up with both of your shit, that's for sure.
Yes, you do. I've always been like a lover of soaking in a hot tub. My godparents have a hot tub, and they live within 10 minutes, 15 minutes from me and my dad. So since childhood, my dad and I would go there. We would have dinner. My dad would stay over and drink wine with his buddy, and I would just spend the majority of the day in their pool and in their hot tub. And it's just honestly just something about sitting back, having a cigarette for me, and having a drink, and just chilling. Like there's something about, and honestly, that's amazing. But to do that when it's lightly raining is some reason that combination is just heaven. When it's slightly sprinkling. I mean, I'm not talking about a downpour.
No,
I'm talking about like a light
mist.
sprinkle.
Yeah, I got you.
Like a mist or just a slight sprinkle. But their hot tub is underneath a tree, so it doesn't. You're not even getting a direct bunch of rain. It's like you get an occasional raindrop on your forehead, and when you just kick back, slightly drunk and having a cigarette, it's like a massage for your fucking scalp, and because you get the heat. Basically everything underneath your neck, and then like you just got this cool drip on your forehead. I don't know, dude. It is fucking tantalizing. Steph's not into that. Steph's a bit of a kind of a germaphobe, and she'll be the one to confirm that. I mean, she's not like, oh my god, scandal. She's a germaphobe, and I mean a real germaphobe. Like not like Trump says he's a germaphobe. I mean like Steph like washes her hands more than anybody I know. So to her, a hot tub is just a giant hot pool of disease. So, and I said, you know what? Doesn't matter. If we die, we die. We die together. Let's jump in this fucking thing together and soak. So we were talking about our bodies and our calves.
Real quick, do you think she would feel differently if it was just yours? Like if you guys had property and it was your hot tub and not like a public apartment complex type thing, would that...
Yeah. I think she'd probably be more likely to go in there at least once a week or something.
As opposed to, right. I'm just curious. Go ahead. I'm not making fun or anything. I was just wondering.
No. It's just so, I mean, that hot tub, I mean, and she said, like, thank you for convincing me. And now in return, I'm trying to convince her to drag her mother into it. Just be like, your mother definitely needs it. Because you both fucking need it. I'm not there to help you with all the heavy lifting. You guys are going to have to do this yourself. So fucking, you now understand that a hot tub can be fucking amazing. Just drag your mother. She's like, I don't know if I can do that. I'm like, you know what? Just swear at her repeatedly until she fucking chases you with a broom, and then push her in the hot tub.
Yeah. There you go. So
hashtag fat fuck. I'm looking more defined.
Good,
but I still have a belly and. I mean, honestly, I have a big beard right now, so I can't even see if my face has lost any weight. I'm drinking a ton of water, and I'm definitely being more proactive and active than I had been in years. I do know I'm gonna have to probably go to the gym tomorrow just to make up for lost time, but I'm not gonna just dive into it. I'm just gonna probably try. Inch back into it.
It's also not like you've been laying around like a lazy fuck. You were moving furniture and doing stuff like you said. So it's not. You're right. It's not the workout in the quote unquote traditional sense, but you were doing shit. So it's not like. I mean, I'm not saying jump in and lift the heaviest weight. I think you're right to ease back in, but it's not like you were just laying around being a lazy shit.
Right. Yeah. And I definitely realized that I had lost a lot of sleep because I was going to bed late. Steph and I were both getting to bed really late, and then because despite everything, despite the move and we have a lot of shit to do, Steph and I just love just talking and laying together and cuddling and all that shit. So that takes up a lot of we really should be asleep, and then we both get a second wind when I'm really like entertaining. Then I kind of amp us up, and then she wakes up probably like 3 or 4 hours before I do, and then she comes in, wakes me up, and then I like
it takes me like a good half hour to get up. So I definitely realized I was lacking some serious sleep because I finally like had a full night last night. But I woke up at like 5 a.m. and then couldn't get back to sleep till like 7, and then woke up at like 12:30. So my body really was just like, don't move. Like I set a ton of alarms for us, like so I can get up and like, but like I slept through all of them, and I'm like waking up, I'm like, holy shit, it's almost 1 o'clock. I have to record in an hour. This is like the first time I slept in like 3 weeks.
Well, that's good. I mean, sometimes you need rest, so it is what it is. Yeah. Let's get into what we're here for today. So, what we are going to get into today, this weekend marked the release of Daredevil Season 3, and we have yet to really get into the Marvel TV universe. I think we've kind of, danced around a little bit when we've talked about other Marvel topics, but we've never actually kind of done a deep dive on the Marvel shows. So I think we're going to get into that and some other Marvel news and things going on in those worlds because there's a lot going on right now, and it's exciting and interesting, and we've touched on some of it, but now I think we need to spend some more time on it. So you had mentioned to me before we started recording that there's pictures of Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio online. So I looked it up, and this guy Martin Knapp, whoever the hell he is, on Twitter has a picture of him. I think he's got it because it looks like he lives in town, or at least in the town they shot this in. So maybe he has an apartment above the set. Yeah. Because Chadwick Boseman apparently is shooting a new gangster movie, and it was literally around the corner from my office for the last 10 days. So
really,
yeah, I didn't see him, but he was there. So, but anyway, so I'm looking at this. No, it's Mysterio without the, as you called it, the fishbowl, which is a good description for it. I think it's meant to be a crystal ball.
The fishbowl head, yeah.
But it looks pretty good, I think. What do you think?
The costume looks pretty spot on. It definitely looks. You know what it looks like? It looks like the costume for Thor in the first Thor.
A little bit. I could see that, but it's a different. But it is a Mysterio color scheme. It's not.
Oh yeah.
So for those who haven't, hello. For those who aren't looking at the Gyllenhaal pictures. It's a over the top, like it's a top down view, so you don't get a really good clean look at it. I don't think, but
yeah, it's not head on.
Yeah, but it is pretty cool. There we go. See, I agree with you. That shot right there, it's still that view. It does. Do you think they actually do you think they took the Thor thing and tweaked it since it is all Marvel?
I mean, the cape, maybe the cape and the
shoulder area up
the
here.
Shoulder support thing. Yeah, it definitely looks a lot like Thor. It looks like a purple themed Thor 1 costume.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It doesn't look like Gyllenhaal. It looks from that angle. It actually, not to push the Thor thing. It looks like Liam Hemsworth.
I see Gyllenhaal, but I guess I see your point too.
It's just not a direct one-on straight-on photo, but it looks good. I just want to see. Do you think that? Oh, see, I was being stupid for a second. There's a bunch of Christmas light bulbs above, hanging. I thought the purple thing with the blue right in front of his face. I thought that was it looked like a little visor thing that maybe he pressed and the fishbowl thing went around his head instead of him having a helmet.
No, that's
that's a Christmas light. That would be cool, actually.
That's like that black thing in front of my face all the time.
The giant black dick you talking to?
Yeah. No, but I'm just taking a quick shot at Steph. Love you, Steph. No, never mind. Anyway, so but that looks. Speaking of the pictures on here, though, did you see the border this guy has, or the backboard or whatever?
Oh, of the
Martin
Bond?
Knapp, this guy, the guy who's got these pictures, these bonds. It's like all the bonds. Dude. I think it's all the bonds. It looks like all of them.
That's all of them. Well, except for the Barry Nelson one we talked about in that.
Oh well, yeah, episode. But the movie ones, right? Because Barry Nelson was technically a TV show, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then there was that other one, the Casino Royale, the early one, where like Peter Sellers or David Niven or whoever the fuck played Bond. Right. It was a spoof. I mean, if you're gonna go that leap, you might as well add Austin Powers. What I want to see is the same thing, but all the villains. Like
that'd be neat. Yeah, Blofeld and all those guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you put
what drives me crazy about this banner is that as much as Daniel Craig looks good and he looks like a Bond, he doesn't have the bow tie and he doesn't have a gun, like doing the gun next to the face pose.
Yeah, but I don't think he's ever really. That's the only
thing it just doesn't fit.
Well, it doesn't fit the theme, but it does fit the what he was different from the other 5 of these guys. You know, that we talked about on the episode.
Doesn't it seem like Bond should actually have a bigger gun than what he has?
Yeah, that is kind of interesting. Well, if you look at Sean Connery, hey, he's got the biggest gun.
Well, no, he's got the same size gun. He just has a big barrel. That's the gun itself is just as small as the other ones.
Never mind. This is getting dirtier than it needs to be. So anyway,
you are definitely reading right into what I just said. But back to Mysterio. So. It looks good. It looks good.
For what they're doing on these Marvel movies, I think it fits the mold, if you will. I think it does.
I like that he has a beard. Actually, I kind of because Mysterio is such a. I mean, this is going to be the first time Mysterio is going to be on the live screen as a villain. I mean, and that I love the fact that Disney is using the Spider-Man villains. They're using villains they've never used. They'll probably, if we could theorize what villain they would use next, I think Octavius will probably be next.
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, it's the most, it's the one that would make the most sense. But then again, Vulture came out of left field. I didn't expect Vulture.
No, but see what they're doing is they're using the earlier villains.
Yeah.
So the very first villain that Spider-Man goes to that fights against is Green Goblin. The second one is Vulture.
So do you think we'll see another Green Goblin, or do you think they're not touching it because of the Raimi? Because if that's the case, you may not see Octavius either.
Well, I don't think they're going to touch it because of the Amazing Spider-Man movie. Because they had a Green Goblin in the Amazing Spider-Man 2. And that did not fare well. Yeah, it was Dane DeHaan.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember.
Where he literally became a goblin. Like, where he was just like...
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, Mysterio... I mean, there are so many... We talked about this in the Spider Web episode we did, which was... what did we call that one? The weird webisode or something?
Yeah, weird webisode.
They're using villains that are underused and not used. So... I mean, to be fair, the Amazing Spider-Man did that as well. Like, they include the Rhino, kind of, and they use the Lizard, and they use Electro.
Right. So not to get into a whole Spider-Man thing, but that's one of the things I liked about Homecoming too. Is you got a backhand in a villain with the Shocker without it being like some over the top campy, like suited. But they still paid homage in the sense that if you notice. We talked about it on that episode, but if you notice the jacket / sweatshirt he's wearing, it's the right pattern, but it's not like a full costume or a suit. You know what I mean? And it worked. So
not to mention they had 2 Shockers. One of them being not Tom Hardy.
Well, neither of them were Tom Hardy.
I know the joke. I said one of them being not Tom Hardy because the guy looks so much like Tom Hardy.
He does,
dude. To the point where someone actually he made a movie. I think it's Logan something. Blanking on his name. But he made a movie that I really enjoyed that came out recently called Upgrade. That movie is so fucking entertaining. And someone watched that movie not knowing that this guy was already in the MCU.
Okay.
And she said, this guy in Upgrade is so good, he should be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He would fuck up Spider-Man or Iron Man. And then he tweeted that back to her. He said, I was in Spider-Man Homecoming. I didn't last fucking long.
Oh, nice.
He's like, I died pretty quickly.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't know about pretty quickly, but yeah.
And he was the guy who was also Prometheus. Did you see Prometheus?
No, I did not.
So he's in Prometheus. So when I was watching, my Michael and I were like, "Is that Bane? Like, what the fuck?"
That Bane?
It's like, is that Tom Hardy? Like, what the fuck? We need to do a Dark Knight episode.
We do, and we will, because I want to do that. I'm trying to find this. I found Shocker number 2, which is the black guy, but I'm trying to find the first one, because I know that's who you're talking about. You're talking about the first one. Here, no. Shocker.
The guy, anyway. the black guy who plays the other Shocker, he always, because I've seen him in random other movies, like he was in Ray, and he was also the Chris Farley movie. He looks like a muscled up Dave Chappelle. I'm always like, God, he looks like a buff Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, he played a detective on the Tupac Biggie thing they did on the FX channel. It was really good. He was good in that too. The guy you're talking about, his name is Logan Marshall Green.
That's what it is. Yeah. I knew it was Logan something.
So,
dude, Upgrade is fucking really entertaining. Like, if you could watch it, it's a little gory, but it's actually really funny.
Okay. Well,
speaking.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just kind of like veer off. I'm like, it's just so entertaining.
Oh, you know what? That's where I know him from. So he was on this show. It was on TBS for a season. It didn't do well. It only lasted like a season and a half, called Dark Blue. But it was a really dark, gritty cop show, and he was one of the cops on the show. I knew when I saw him in Homecoming that I'd seen him somewhere before, and I couldn't put my finger on it. That's where I've seen him before.
Well, everyone did that because they all thought it was Tom Hardy. They were like, "Oh my God, I know this. He looks. Is it Tom Hardy? No, it's not Tom Hardy."
Well, no, I knew he wasn't Tom Hardy, but I knew I'd seen him on a couple of things. And it looks like he was on a season of 24 too. So I think I probably saw him there because I used to watch 24.
He and Tom Hardy look so much alike, but also you could spot the differences. It's like Skeet Ulrich and Johnny Depp.
I don't know who Skeet Ulrich is, so I'll have to take your word for that one. But
look up Skeet Ulrich, and you'll be like, "Oh my God, that is like." I think even Chris Rock called him the poor man's Johnny Depp.
Yeah, not really. I'm looking on right now. I don't think so. But anyway, speaking of Spider-Man villains,
him in Scream, he definitely gives off a Johnny Depp vibe. Anyways, fucking Spider-Man.
You saw Venom, didn't you?
Yeah, I saw Venom.
How was it?
I mean, remember how I said Predator was like one of the movies that I really walked out of really disappointed?
This was another one?
Oh, yeah. I could give you like a 30-second review if you want.
Well, I do, but before you do that, the one complaint I heard, I'm trying to remember where I heard it. It was either Mark Bernardin or it might have been Garmin. But they said they should have made it an R-rated movie, and they don't know why they didn't, except for the fact that, like, obviously PG-13 draws a bigger crowd in the sense that you can sell more tickets. But they should have made it an R-rated movie.
Tell that to Logan and Deadpool.
Well, right, which, by the way, not to get off and before you tell me your thing, you heard what they're doing with Deadpool 2, right?
No.
They've re-edited it to a PG-13, and they're putting it back in theaters.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah,
fuck that noise. That's all I'm saying. Because if that's successful and that works, we're never getting another rated R Deadpool.
No, we will. It just, oh God. I think it's Disney now that Disney owns Fox. They're just testing if it'll work. But
right, but that's what I'm saying. Like if it works, they're going to PG-13 it, and then what'll happen is for all of us who want the R-rated, we'll have to buy the DVD, and it'll be in there. You won't get it in the theater.
Well, to be fair, we'll all buy the DVD anyways. I mean, to be fair, Disney knows what they're doing.
If it's a PG-13 Deadpool and they're not guaranteeing the R-rated ones in the package, no, I'm not buying it. I'm telling you that right now.
Well, only if they don't include an R-rated one. But I think it's them trying to test the waters. Being like, we could put Deadpool in with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but we obviously can't have an R-rated one. We can push that boundary. We can push that limit, which we can talk about when we talk about the Marvel TV shows, because those are definitely not R-rated, but those push.
Oh yeah,
PG-13 as hard as possible.
And being that they're not rated, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, they totally do. Well, but here's the thing,
there's no F-bombs.
No, that's right. You're right. No, you're right. But I'm saying, like, those TV shows don't get a rating, is all I'm saying. They don't go through the MPAA or whatever it's called to get a rating, and that's all my point was. But, you know, with Deadpool, they can, and we talked about this before, so I'm not going to try to dig up the whole thing again, but you had a really good idea about, like, have him have a cameo. Like, if you want to put him in the MCU, you can, because you put him in there as a cameo where they do beep him or whatever, and he makes the joke about, hey, was that a beep? What the beep? You know, because, and you keep getting that kind of thing. You had that idea, and I thought that was a really good idea. And if they treat it that way as a cameo, it works. But if you're going to do a whole fucking PG-13 Deadpool movie, you can kiss my ass, because you will not get any of my money unless you guarantee me the R-rated version is included in the DVD, and I will wait to get it. I will not pay for the theater to do that.
Maybe we should reach out to our inner channel to Matty Granger and have him reach out to Kevin Feige for us and be like, "Hey, dude, we got an idea. Like, this will make CJ really happy. So don't focus on CJ. Like, fuck everyone else, but CJ right here he will say, kiss
that'll matter
if you don't fuck this up." So, by the way, it was Matty Granger's birthday a couple days ago.
What, did we? Oh shit!
No,
happy birthday, Matty.
No, yeah, it was his birthday is the day before Steph's.
Oh fuck! Damn it. Well, sorry, buddy. Dude, I almost missed Steph's. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I wasn't paying attention to what date it was, and when I talked to her last night, she brought it up, not like in a hey, you forgot my birthday, but in a hey, like, I can't believe I'm doing all this shit on my birthday. So I just rolled with it like I remembered. And she's going to hear this, so she's going to know that I fucked it up, but at least she knows after the fact. So.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't understand. Dude, Facebook is like the unofficial usage to remember people's birthdays.
I know, but after that exchange I told you I had, I took myself off. Like, I don't even look at it. So I'm missing all those, like, announcements now.
Speaking of announcements, let's go back to this fucking Marvel. So if you look at the other photos that shows, you don't have to put on the screen sharing. I already know what it looks like.
Yeah.
There's the Mysterio photos. There's also photos and footage of Spider-Man's new costume.
Oh, really? I didn't see that. Let me look. Go ahead. Keep talking. I'm gonna.
So it looks a lot like, it doesn't look like the Iron Spider suit. It looks a lot like the Civil War Spider, or the majority of the Homecoming suit, basically.
Okay.
The Stark suit.
The Stark suit,
but instead of a lot of red, it's a lot of black. So it's a lot of black and red. I'm sorry, not red, blue. That's what I meant to say. So it's red and black, not red and blue, which is a throwback to another of the earlier 60s comic of Spider-Man, where I think the original colors, and they also mentioned this for Batman, the original colors were supposed to be black and gray. But there was I think someone interpreted that as the ink getting too dark and said, oh, it's not black, it must be blue. So let's make it gray and blue. That's why we have a gray and blue Batman, way, way, way black.
Yeah. I've heard of that. I don't think that's the exact reason, but I've heard that. So yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That's the same thing with Spider-Man. It was interpreted as like, oh, well, he made it black and red, because really there's no blue on a spider. It would be black and red, like Black Widow.
Right.
The blue always threw me off. It works because we're so used to it, but blue makes no bit of fucking sense for a spider. Which is why I really appreciate the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, because there's very little blue. It's mostly just red with some black grids.
There's some blue, like accents.
There's some blue, but not a lot. Yeah. So it's the same thing. It was supposed to be black and red. So they're right there. So you see what I'm saying? It looks like a 1962 Spider-Man. It looks like a Ditko Spider-Man.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, and so before we started recording, I showed you the Spider-Man game that we've talked about, and you saw the different suits in there too. So
yeah, So that's what I was talking about, where you showed me the all black with the red emblem. Like, no, it's the other way around. It's completely inverted.
Yeah. No, I kind of knew what you meant, but I just, from a color scheme, that's why I showed you the one when we were doing the game.
It looks fucking amazing, dude. Honestly, I think I might like this fucking suit a whole lot more. I mean, I really like the Homecoming suit, but this suit, I'm pretty much like...
You know what? That brings me to a point, though, and I don't want to get into a whole thing because I know there's a lot of other stuff we want to get to, but does that mean the Iron Spider suit dies somewhere in this during the Avengers? Because why isn't he wearing the Iron Spider suit as opposed to this?
Well, what if... I mean, I just thought of this, but what if after the Thanos snap, they're not wearing costumes. They're just human. They may even be naked. So maybe that suit is destroyed.
That's possible, sure.
So instead of Stark being like, well, fuck, I got to replicate what I did, I'll just make you a better one. Right. Or the other possibility is they really haven't focused too much on the fact that Peter Parker is a genius to the caliber of Tony Stark. The only thing he doesn't have is the funds to make what he can make. Right. He makes his fucking web, his web fluid, in fucking science lab,
and
in his high school.
Floods the drawer with spider web fluid, if you remember.
Yeah. He just definitely fills that cabinet.
Ba-dum-bum.
That wasn't a very good but whatever.
No, but hey, why not?
Instead of a rim shot, let's call that a rim. How's that sound?
What's a rim shot that move on, Rico. Move on.
So I would like to see them focus a little bit more on Parker as a genius. I want to see him maybe get some funding from Stark, but make his own suit, and that could be really good.
That could be what that is. By the way, in the game, real quick, I didn't tell you because it just didn't occur to me to mention it, but Miles Morales actually makes an appearance. Not as Spider-Man, but he makes an appearance in the game.
Are you going to see that Into the Spider-Verse movie that's coming out?
Is that animated thing I've heard about?
Yeah. Have you seen any footage of that?
No.
Dude, you should see that.
I like animated stuff, so I'd be all for that.
It looks... Hi, Bart. It looks really interesting. The only thing I'm like, is the guy who's voicing Spider-Man and Peter Parker is not at all what I envisioned for Peter Parker. Because Peter Parker, in the majority of the games and movies and shows, sounds usually similar. He usually kind of sounds Tobey Maguire-esque. Like in the Amazing Spider-Man game that I played on PS3, not the new one that you have on PS4.
Right.
It sounds like Tobey Maguire, even though it's supposed to be the Andrew Garfield version.
Do you know who's in this movie?
Yeah, a lot.
Like some heavy fucking hitters in this thing.
Dude, fucking Mahershala Ali from Luke Cage.
Yep. Lily Tomlin.
Who is honestly... Who?
Lily Tomlin. Like the same...
Is Aunt May?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a feeling she was going to be Aunt May.
John Mulaney, Nick Cage, Liv Schreiber.
Liv Schreiber? Really?
Yeah, he's Kingpin.
He's Kingpin?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that is brilliant casting.
Yeah. He's
like nothing against D'Onofrio, but like if Liv Schreiber had like packed on the weight, he would have killed as Kingpin.
Yeah.
But look who's playing Peter Parker.
Jake Johnson.
Yeah. Do you know what he sounds like?
No, I'm not familiar with him.
He kind of sounds like TJ Miller. So imagine if TJ Miller was playing Spider-Man.
Okay.
That's my whole thing. I'm like, it's just not the Spider-Man I want. It just sounds really kind of like, I mean, no offense to Jake Johnson or even TJ Miller, but just kind of sounds a little whiny in a kind of presumptuous way. Like, yeah, dude, these fries are like really good. Like, God, I love these fries. Like, they're really just.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, go ahead.
Check the R-rated.
What makes you different is what makes you Spider-Man.
Okay, So here's my immediate thought of that. I will not pay to see that in theater.
All right, go back to the castle. But I want to see who else is playing here.
Real quick,
tell me why.
Did you see this?
Zachary Quinto confirms what?
R rating for Tarantino's Star Trek.
Oh, I heard about that. That's old. That's old news.
Well, it's new to me. All right, jeez, damn. All right, anyway.
All right. So let's see. Haley Stanfield is Gwen Stacy. She's good, man. She's gonna win an Oscar. I like her a lot.
I don't know who she is. Hold on, let me see her real quick. I'll go back. I promise.
She was in True Grit, the remake.
Did not see it.
Well, that's good. She's really good in that.
Okay. Anyway.
She was also in a movie I really loved called The Edge of 17. So you got your Spider-Man Noir, played by Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, you heard him briefly in the thing.
Didn't sound like Nicolas Cage. It sounded like Nicolas Cage for once.
It did. I heard it.
I know, but it didn't sound like him being like, "Oh, I'm Nicolas Cage." It sounded like him playing it straight.
Well, yeah, you only heard like 2 seconds, but true.
Right.
The Spider-Ham annoys me.
It's John Mulaney.
Well, I don't have a problem with John Mulaney, but the fact that there's a pig.
Well, don't you remember they had one of those multiverse games that you and I played, like Shattered Dimensions or something like blah, 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 where they had the multiple Spider-Men?
Yeah, but there was no Spider-Ham, not in the one I played.
There was one. They had a camp. It wasn't like we played as him, but there was like, it showed another dimension. It showed like a bunch of dimensions. It showed Spider-Ham briefly.
Oh, well, I maybe didn't get that far then. I don't know, because I don't think I finished that game, but yeah.
What did you think of Jake Johnson? Did you hear what I was hearing? Like, did you hear that kind of like...
I can kind of hear it, but I don't hear it the way you're hearing it, I think, because it didn't bother me. It would have bothered me more if it was TJ Miller, but I didn't hear it like you hear it, so...
All right, anybody else down there that's worth knowing?
No, I don't think so.
Go to see full cast. If there's anybody uncredited. So why won't you pay to see that? You just didn't like the...
It didn't jump out at me enough that I'd want to pay that much to go to the theater. Now, to be fair, and I don't know if this makes it worse, I'd probably buy a copy when it comes out and watch it here, right. But I don't think... Because I buy all the DC animated ones almost sight unseen, and none of them have disappointed me, though. Like, there's been a couple I've liked more than others, but there's not been one time where I've got it. Actually, yes, there's one time I got it where I was like, ugh. But the nostalgia and the collectible value of it is worth it to me. It's the Batman 66 animated one they put out.
Oh, the one with Adam West.
And Burt Ward, yeah. It wasn't great, but the fact that it's those two kind of makes it worth having,
They made a sequel to that, right? It was yeah, they did. It was William Shatner as Two-Face.
No, he's in that one as Two-Face.
I thought they made another one.
No, not that I'm aware of.
You might be right.
No, there's no one on... They showed the whole cast on that first page. I don't see anything new. And the cops are coming to get you. CJ here with a few thank yous and to let you know how you can get in touch with and follow the show and us. For PodAskew, go to iTunes, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts on your iPhone, and Google Play Music on your Android phone to listen to, subscribe, rate, and comment on the show, or the Listen Notes podcast search engine at www.listennotes.com. Go there, type in PodAskew, all one word, and you can stream us right there. If you want to agree with or yell at us directly, follow Rico, me, and the show on Twitter. The show is at PodAskew. Rico is at RantsRico, and I'm at M_Blade. If you need to contact the show for promotional reasons, tweet Stephanie at PodAskewPR. Check out Rico's YouTube channel, Rico's Rants, on YouTube at www.youtube.com/Rico'sRants. Thank you to Dubbed in English for our opening theme music, 96 Reasons. They're no longer online, but you can contact me for a copy of the full song or the whole Plan 9 EP. Thank you to Samuel Lemons for our closing music, Theme Askew. You can find his music on SoundCloud at www.soundcloud.com/Samuel-Lemons. Finally, our biggest thank you is to you, everyone, for listening. Rico and I really appreciate your time and look forward to bringing you another episode soon. Hey, Rico. I got nothing, man.
Damn it.
PodAskew.